a former Pueblo student, which is really cool. And his name is Sam Reynolds, and Sam is also an author. So he's going to talk to you today a little bit about his whole writing process, what he goes through, how he gets ideas, the ups and downs of it. And I hope you'll all give him all your attention. And then he will have some question and answer time at the end. So you can ask him whatever you'd like to about writing. So here he is.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
So, like Kathy said, I'm Sam Reynolds. I used to go here a long time ago, and I'm going to talk to you guys about my books. So, where do we begin? I am 17. I went to Pueblo 6 years ago for the 2010-2011 school year. I was the original Spirit Dogs team, as seen by my old shirt. I had Miss Siminek. She's awesome. She still goes here. She was here an hour ago. Miss Pate was my science teacher. She retired the year after I was done. Miss Lagerquist is still here. She taught history. Miss Alhor taught my math, but she is now in Oregon. I now attend a charter school in Mesa called Heritage Academy. It's right in the middle of downtown, right across from the Art Center. And I am going to graduate from there next year. So how my books began, it was the summer before my 6th grade year. And it was kind of one of those days where you're with your best friend and you're sitting in the pool and you're eating barbecue chips, and all of a sudden you just think, I'm going to write a book. And that's basically how it happened. I've had a fascination, yes, barbecue chips are best. I had a fascination with dinosaurs since I was a little tyke in 2nd grade or whatever grade I was in. And I always loved the Jurassic Park movies. They were my favorite. So I decided to base my kind of whole premise for at least the first part of this series to include dinosaurs. So my beginning writing process. Writing 2 books at the same time and how that does not always work. Actually, I should have said it never works. When I originally started the series, it was going to be 4 books, and I would consecutively do each one, and then we're done. But I decided, hey, what if I write the 3rd book at the same time as the first one? I can get books done twice as fast. No, that's not how it worked at all. I was more focused on the 3rd book and having to balance out characters, who's going to be alive in the 3rd, who's not going to be alive, like continuity and other events. It's just too hard. So I basically scrapped most of that book, which was really sad. But, however, Pueblo used to have a writing club where they would encourage students to publish. They called it Pueblo Publishing, where they encourage students to write creative stuff or write books or do whatever. And then they would publish it on this really nice paper that feels really nice. And I only wrote so much of this book, but this is most of it that I scrapped. But I still have this binder. It's really cool. What else? Oh, concept over actual writing philosophy. My philosophy was a terrible philosophy. I was more worried about the concept of how the characters were going to look rather than actually writing what they were going to do in the story. So I would spend my time drawing characters over and over again, like different hairstyles, different iterations. And then when I actually focused on real writing, I got more done. So my first bit of advice is don't focus so much on how they look. You can have all the ideas you want in your head, but for the time being, if you're going to write a book, just write the stinking book. Now, publishing. Eli's sister, Lizzie, introduced me to NaNoWriMo, which is National Novel Writing Month. And basically it's a company where they hold this competition every November where you have to write a book in 30 days, and it has to be 30,000 words. And I use this as an opportunity to finish my own book. I think mine was 40,000 words. Basically, if you set a word goal of 30,000 words or more, and you beat that goal, you win the competition, and you get to publish with Amazon's publishing company called CreateSpace. Once I was in this competition in November of 2014, and I won, and I got the chance to publish Dino Hunters Part 1. So basically, they give you a code where you can set up your account, and that code can get you some free copies of your book, which is really nice. And once you upload your interior file, whether it be a document or a PDF, and you can make your own cover with this software that they have, and then you send it to them to get approved. It comes back within 24 hours approved. In the next few days, it's on Amazon.com, which is pretty amazing. Now, my completed projects, which I have on this table, I have 3 versions of Dino Hunters Part 1 for a reason. So this was the first edition that I published on December 11th of 2014. The title's a little bit different than the rest of them. I'll explain why. So I was more in a hurry of finishing the actual book and getting it out there than going back and saying, oh, there's a lot of errors in this. This is totally terrible. So I decided I couldn't let that be the only version. So I came to the second version. I changed the title to make it look a little bit nicer, and then I realized, oh, I didn't fix all the errors. So I took a black pen and basically did this for the entire book, fixing every little thing. And after about 9 days of editing and refixing it, getting it reapproved, I came to this third version, which is the final version you can now get on Amazon for $10. And this is the best version of the book that I have, and I'm very proud that I have made it so much better than it used to be. And part 2, if you guys have been following the story so far, I started writing part 1, or just Dino Hunters in general, 6 years ago. And I didn't finish writing that book until 2014, so it took me 4 years to write. This book only took me 4 months to write. And it was a lot more stressful than I had hoped, but it was still doable. And this book's about, I'd say, double the size of this one, and it is much better because I knew how to write better. So now I'm going to give you guys a little treat and read you both the back summaries of this book, and then something special. So this is for part 1. Harrison Lumina was just an ordinary teenager living in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which is the picture on the cover of this book. He and his 7 friends would soon experience the greatest tragedy of their time, because they would be the ones to save mankind from total annihilation. What seemed as a night at the prom turned to a gory disaster, and what seemed as normal was all thrown away. The city was destroyed, and a man was claimed responsible. He did what no one thought was possible. He bred species that were lost to the ravages of time. He reanimated prehistoric dinosaurs for one purpose: to wreak havoc. Will Harrison and his friends be able to stop them in time? Will the villain be brought to justice, or bring the planet down to its knees? Will the government try to sabotage the mission, rather than aid our heroes? Will their group known as the Hunters complete the task ahead, or come short and seal humankind's extinction? To discover in this thrilling novel full of intense action, romance, mysteries around every corner, and a story that will keep you on the edge of your seat begging for more. The truth, the real story, is unveiled in the beginning of this deadly journey, Dino Hunters Part 1. And then Part 2, left in ruins with a member dead and the ships obliterated, the Hunters' only objective left is to survive. The island of Toronto is a place of many secrets, and the group discovers the secrets as they try to uncover the mysteries of the island. Oliver Jensen still poses a grave threat to society and the world, greater than ever before. Will they be able to cage the dinosaur threat in time? Or will they be forced to take extreme measures and change their objective entirely in order to save the world? Harrison and those who will remain will be put to the ultimate test that will either unite them together or sever them permanently. Dive into the highly anticipated sequel to Dino Hunters Part 1, and follow the Hunters through the next phase of their perilous, life-threatening journey in Dino Hunters Part 2 Armageddon. And now, oh, thank you. And now, I'm going to give you guys a little treat and talk about what's my upcoming projects. So, coming soon this spring is going to be my 3rd novel called Deadlock. It's not going to be called Dino Hunters Part 3 for obvious reasons. If you read the second book, you'll know why. My original plan for Deadlock was to have it out last December to honor the 1-year anniversary of Dino Hunters Part 1 being published, but sadly my life got in the way and that didn't happen. So, I'm hoping to, in the next few months or so, to get this done so I can focus on the last book and finally get this series done, because it drives me crazy, but I love that it drives me crazy. So now I'm going to read you guys the summary for Deadlock. Although the Hunters managed to escape the clutches of Oliver Jensen on Toronto, he still remains a grave threat. Thought to be dead, there is nothing left to stop him from unleashing the final phase of his ultimate plan, making humanity pay the price. Finding themselves on the run, will the team be able to end Jensen's plans before they come to fruition? Or, when faced with a bounty on their heads, will Harrison's actions risk the future of humanity? Just over a year after the first in the series was released, the next chapter of the long-lost Secret series has arrived. Join Harrison and his team as they once again have to fight their way to survive through this epic yet grim journey. Prepare, as all hope seems lost and all hell breaks loose in Deadlock. And that picture with the birds on the fence will be the cover photo for Deadlock. So now my plans for the future as an author. Like I said in the original, it's going to be 4 books for the entire series, and now that I have 2 done, I have 2 more to go. Deadlock will be sometime this spring, and Annihilation, which will be the 4th book, will be coming later in 2016, hopefully August or December. I have plans to visit more schools. I've had a lot of fun doing these author visits here, talking to all of you guys. I'm coming back in a few weeks, actually, to talk with the rest of the students. I've been over at Paloma with the 5th graders. They really enjoyed having me go there, talking about the books. They were really excited about it. And one of my biggest hopes is that with the talents that I have of being a creative writer and a storyteller and author, that I can accomplish one of my greatest goals, which is to show the world what I'm capable of doing, and showing them that I will go to any length to making it as good as it can be. And I can do that by my storytelling, characters, and dialogue. So now, it's time for our Q&A, so if you guys have questions, just ask away. Tell me your name.
Jason.
Okay.
Alright, so I know it's about dinosaurs, but like, what happens?
What happens? Well, I can't spoil everything, can I?
Well, like, a little more detail.
A little more detail. So, in the beginning, there was this big, huge, great war between dinosaurs and dragons, and like humans were involved in it too. And basically, there is an ancient artifact that's kind of like a dagger, but it turns into like a velociraptor claw thingy, and it's passed down to the generations to the main character, which is based on me. And then basically, when it starts acting weird and weird things start happening around, they kind of get thrown into the situation of, oh, there's dinosaurs everywhere, you have to save the city. And then part 2 kind of delves into the group kind of falling apart and going crazy on each other, kind of trying to kill each other, and it's really fun. And basically ends up with an even greater cliffhanger of it's about to get really real. Tell me your name.
Sierra.
Sierra.
When did you actually start writing?
Start writing it? I would have to say it was sometime in the month of July before I started school. It was sometime. 6th grade. Tell me your name.
Davin.
Davin.
Who was your 5th grade teacher?
My 5th grade teacher was Ramsar and McNeely. Tell me your name.
Silas.
Silas.
Have you sold any? And if you have, how many?
I have sold some. I've sold about 20 of the first one and about 15 of the second one. Tell me your name. Yeah.
Sophia.
Sophia.
After you go there, do you plan to write another series?
Well, at this point, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to write. I was going to do a spin-off novel dealing with dragons, and I really wanted to have that incorporated somehow instead of writing a whole other book. So what I've done with Deadlock is half of Deadlock will be the entire Dragon Hunters arc as half of the book, and then the other half of the book will be the main story of the main characters in the real world in real time. So basically, it'll be interchanging between the dragons and the humans, like throughout the entire book, which is really hard to do, but it's still manageable. And then you go next turn. Oh, that's very hard. It's very, very hard to do. I'm often trying to figure out how I can balance sleep with writing, because I always write when I'm in bed, and like I'll either choose to, do I want to sleep more or do I want to write another chapter? I want to sleep more. I always want to sleep more. It's kind of, you kind of have to practice that balance. Like you can write for some and then like do your homework please first, but when you get the chance, just write whenever you can. Tell me your name.
I'm Miz. And are these books just sold on Amazon or at school?
Right now, with the way that it works, that I've set it up, is it's available on Amazon.com instantly for purchase. And then with CreateSpace, they also have this thing called expanded distribution, where it sends your book kind of everywhere. It sends it. My books are on BarnesandNoble.com, and they've gone to other bookstores. And I'm trying. I might be actually getting them to get into the Changing Hands bookstore pretty soon, and in this library as well.
So, is it like a zombie apocalypse survival type of thing?
Kind of. Like, I see where you would think. It's kind of like zombies, but more dinosaurs than zombies. But it's kind of like, especially part 2 is mainly survival, not only with the dinosaurs, but with each other.
And about what time is it going to be coming to the school?
Do you have the answer for that, Kathy?
I'm sorry, I didn't do the first trick.
At what time are these books going to come to this library?
I'm hoping within the week. They can be ordered on Amazon, and Amazon delivers pretty quickly.
I got first dibs.
Your teachers will have some information for you. Teachers will retain so you remember it. And also, the fact that you can go on Amazon to order the book. So if you'd like to order a book yourself, your teachers will have that information. And then I will get some copies for the school also. Hopefully this coming week.
Eli?
So does the second book kind of turn into a Hunger Games kind of scenario? Where everyone's trying to kill each other?
Not necessarily everyone's trying to kill each other. Some of them want to kill each other. Like the group ends up splitting. Some of that, like the group ends up splitting in half about really early on, because at the end of the first book, a bad thing happens, and they're all kind of messed up afterwards. And then that messed up turns into tension. It turns into them getting mad at each other, and them trying to kill. Some of them trying to kill each other. Some of them want to be peaceful and want to be friends, but that's not going to happen.
How much does it cost?
They are $10 each, as of now. You?
Did you draw kind of a good amount from the Jurassic Park trilogy?
Basically, I mainly just dragged the part of kind of how they were made, and like, oh, there's an island full of dinosaurs. There's an island full of dinosaurs. There you go. Oh, I'm in bed, so she doesn't know that I'm writing. But then again, both of these books have been finished at 3 in the morning, so I'm kind of insane.
So, like, I noticed that on the second book it was edited by someone, but, like, did they also edit the first book?
The first one was more edited by me because I actually had the in-hand thing so I could do it, but I didn't want to go through all that again, so I had my best friend who helped me like come up with the original idea to edit it, and we had kind of edited it together and made things a lot better than the first one. Tell me your name.
Did you say you were drawing other pictures in your book?
They're not pictures, but I had this whole binder, and like pictures up here on the table, just me, just concept art after concept art after concept art of just characters and characters. It's really fun.
So you draw the pictures to kind of, so when you write the book, it's like describing what you drew. Okay.
So I can kind of like picture like, oh, this scene is going to play out like this, and yada yada yada. One of my favorite characters is this goth girl who I've drawn like 1,000 times, and she's like, I can see like how her personality and like the way she looks kind of blends its way into every scene, which really helps.
Oh.
Tell me your name.
Christina.
Christina.
While you were writing your books, did you start to become more connected with your characters?
I did. Well, the main character is based off of me. Like, he looks like me, he is me. And then the other characters, they are all based off of somebody that I knew here at Pueblo in 6th grade. They were like part of my group of friends. And when they found out that this actually became a thing, they freaked out and they were so happy. And then I was talking to one of my friends a few days ago about, I gave her some books because she wanted to read them. And then I was describing one of my favorite characters, and she's like, that sounds exactly like me. I'm like, I knew that character was from somebody. I thought I just made her up in my mind. I was really
When you write, what kind of like mindset do you have when you write?
To not kill anybody too quickly, to make everything sound good but not be too detailed, to kind of get progressively darker as it goes on. Basically part 2 is, you take part 1, you look at part 2, it's like, well, part 2 is a lot darker than part 1. And part 3 is going to be even darker than part 2. So, just one of my goals is to try and make each book different from each other.
Oh.
Is there anything that like inspired you to start writing?
Well, 6 years ago, I was really into the Harry Potter series. Like, Harry Potter was a big thing. And, is that the bell?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we have like.
So, I liked J.K. Rowling's and her writing, and I like, well, she's a good author. Maybe I can be a good author. And that was one of the things. Like, well, I really like these books. I want to make my books sort of similar to that, but no magic. Okay, you first. How many books? 20 and 15. You?
And what kind of age group buys these kind of books? Like, is it like all sorts of age groups, or are you pointing it toward a specific age group?
Well, when I started looking at age groups, I knew these weren't going to be children's books. Like, yes, it can be dinosaurs, it can be fluffy, but I'm not going to make it very fluffy. When I was in 6th grade, I first started writing it as in, okay, I'm going to put the characters a grade above where I am. It's like, oh, they're in 7th grade. This is so cool. But then I decided to put them in high school, and it's pretty funny. You read a little bit of part 1, and you read like all this stuff in high school. You're like, none of this makes sense. It's ridiculous. It is, because I knew nothing about high school, so I basically made it up as I went. But it's mainly for 6th graders all the way, I guess, to adults, if they want. You in the back?
You don't ever want to become a movie, and if so, like, who do you want actors to be?
If I was asked the same question a year ago when I was with the 5th graders, like, are they going to turn this into a movie? I'm like, I have to talk to Hollywood about that. If this ever became a movie, I would be so happy. I would try and get as many of the casting decisions as I would want to have my original friends play the original characters, and then whoever I couldn't find, I would find somebody to fill. But if you guys want to be in the movie, okay.
My class, we're going to exit that door and head back to the classroom. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys so much.
What's the green cover?
It's like a forest thing that I found. Oh, this looks basically what this.
I want to be that one guy that you never got to know but gets mangled by a dinosaur like in their mouth.
That could probably happen. I never knew you.
You guys can keep talking if you want to stay talking.
Is that the person that you spent forever messing with her hair?
Yep.
Wait, can I see those?
This?
Yeah, just one.
Oh, I see it, because, like, over there you had it crossed.
Who's this
The other
based
side,
off of?
parked on the other side.
Who's that based off of? One of my friends from 6th grade. Her name is Nicole. And if you guys want to look up the books on Amazon, I have little flyers here so you guys don't forget the book's name.
Yeah, the cost watch.
Pretty much everyone here is from our class. When did you draw these? When did you draw these?
These have been accumulating since I started, so these are like up to 6 years old.
That
Do you
does
sketch?
look like a zombie face.
Do you sketch?
A little bit. And I'm like, it's writing time.
I'm an artist. I try Oh, I remember whenever you first drew one of these S things, you're like, I'm an artist now.
Yep. Whenever you're like you're in 3rd grade, I'm so cool, guys.
Show all the S's.
I have to kill 11 people in my next book.
Might as well do it all in one chapter.
How many
1,
people
2,
are part of
3,
the
4,
group?
5, 6, 7. Oh, I got 2 more left.
Okay, so we need Silas.
Just be lazy and kill them all
Silas
in
needs to
one
die. Well, not in real life,
I
but
wouldn't
in
do
the
that.
movie.
I'm gonna kill like 5 in one chapter. They're gonna get massacred.
That's like the Hunger
You could just do like a giant,
super
like,
graphic
let's just
about
add
it.
you could just be like a giant dinosaur.
Could I flip through the end one?
Yeah. Well, but that's the one with all the markings. This one is
I know.
the-
That's what I wanted to see.
giant dinosaur comes and chomps back.
Oh, this is a
It'd
lot.
be like Jurassic World. The thing comes out of the water. Oh, you're all dead.
Oh yeah, which movie is your favorite out of like the entire Jurassic World?
Jurassic World, obviously. Who doesn't like Chris Pratt and his Raptor Pack?
And technically that's the only Jurassic World.
Jurassic Park 3 was okay because it had Spinosaurus. The first one's always the best. Second one is pretty good.
You're a good artist.
I was mediocre.
In the back, you don't have so much editing. You're taking it easy on yourself in the back.
I wasn't like, nope, I'm done with this.
It's funny, he's starting to get involved in the book.
Yeah, I like to draw Christina a lot because she's like.
I think I'm just gonna stay here till
Is
math.
that the second one?
I'll be reading the book.
That's
Is that the
first.
second? Oh, that's the first.
This is the second.
I love these
I think we
covers.
got
Like they just
time.
look so cool.
They do.
About 30
Really,
years.
like really.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
that,
need to
like-
get
like-
there if you got
yeah.
a stack number.
It's like there's gonna be all this crazy series.
should
Like
go back and get all-
this next book is gonna deal with like this virus that the villains created to kind of take control over.
And you said it's not about zombies.
I didn't say yet it's about
World War
zombies.
Z. World War Z all over
World War
again.
One.
World War Z1. So it'll be kind of like mind control-ish, not like zombies. They're not gonna like go and kill other humans. They're just gonna be under control of this mutagen virus.
Are you gonna add
thing.
pictures?
No.
Because I feel like if you were to add a picture of like the container of the virus, it would look really cool.
I think the virus has like lightning in it.
And you could add like syringes.
Syringes. Yeah.
Like, just like one little part,
Inject
at like the
yourself
start
with
of
it,
like a
now you can
chapter, you
control
could
yourself.
show the picture of like thing.
If you were to inject yourself with it, wouldn't you be able to control yourself better?
No, basically when you get injected, your
Or-
eyes turn purple, which means that you're under the control. And whenever like the person who did it, whenever he snaps, that means like you either come out or get out of it.
Okay, bye. Bye, thank you. Thank you very much. Feels like
Enjoy.
hypnosis.
Basically. Enjoy.
You too.
We've got to break till 1:20.
120.
This
Okay.
is 8th grade lunch.
Oh.
And then at that point, it will be 5th period, and the first half, you'll have 2 6th grade classes. Second half, you'll have a 6th grade and a 7th grade. And I just told the 7th grade teacher she would be in here by herself for the second half, but that's not true. I just am getting so confused.
Wow.
Between the periods.